James earns millions from internet marketing. Tim's got millions of questions. Welcome to Freedom Ocean. Now, jump on in.
James Schramko, welcome back to the delightful Freedom Ocean.
Well, thanks, Tim.
And here I am, I'm lying on the floor of your lab and I'm looking at your screensaver and it happens to be the ocean. Where's that?
That was actually taken from the beach that I lived at.
Clearly.
Yeah. Well, the beach that I lived on. That was one of my lifetime goals, was to live at the beach.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
We might have to take a screenshot of that and get it up on the fan page. Hey, James, we should welcome our listeners back to the Freedom Ocean, which is getting some momentum. The swell is building.
Quite incredible, really. And
yep.
We just looked at our iTunes things, and the individual episodes are actually ranking well now.
Are ranking well. And listeners, we are going to try and be upbeat here, but James and I and the family have just been out for a big meal at the local tavern. So, and it is late at night now, and it's past my bedtime. James is just peaking, and I'm just sort of hitting the, gee, I should be in bed by now type mood. But that said, I'm pretty excited because we've got a fair bit to cover in this episode. So without further ado, what I do want to say is if you are new to the show, actually, important, really important, because this is a show about internet marketing where I am the guy with a million questions. You've got the $1 million. And this show, it's not sequential. But it would be worth going back to the early episodes because we've covered a fair bit.
We have. We're really cramming a lot of information in, and I think I also want to thank the readers for telling us what it is they're enjoying about it. And one of the things that comes up a lot is there's just no filler, no fluff. No. We're going straight for the jugular.
Straight for the jugular. And so, yeah, it is worth, if you are just starting to listen to the ocean now, go back and have a listen to what has been covered. And, in fact, sign up at freedomocean.com and you'll get the transcripts of every single episode we've done so far, which is pretty useful, I'm being told by some of our listeners. Now, James, I've got a million questions, mate. There is many, many things bothering me, leaving me with no answers in regards to internet marketing. So I've got a few, and then we are going to spend the majority of this show talking about another business model.
Let's rip into it.
Which is affiliate marketing.
Whoa.
Hey, you like that one?
That was really the first one.
That was close to your heart.
Was my first model.
Yeah. You got a glint in the eye. You okay?
Yeah.
All right. If you find it hard to talk about it, we'll just stop. Okay.
I think you'll find it hard to stop me talking about it. Okay.
All right. Well, listen. I'm going to ask you some random questions, things that have been bothering me. I've been keeping a list of questions before Freedom Ocean ever came about. Just keeping a list of questions around internet marketing. Now, here we go. I'll start with a simple one. What's the difference between tags and categories when you're uploading a post in your WordPress site?
Okay. Well, a category is like a filing cabinet. It's which drawer does this post or belong into. So it's pretty much, in the case of our blog, for example, freedomocean.com, when we put a podcast out, we label it podcast. That is the category that it lives in. And when the search engine looks at the website, it actually follows the bunch of posts that are categorized as the same category will all appear as if they're in one place, like a filing cabinet. Now, the tag is what you would put when you're inside that filing cabinet drawer. It's literally what you would label the folder with or label the post with. If you had to describe the post in 5 or 6 phrases and you had a dyno machine, what would you type into that dyno machine and stick on that post?
So what's Google love more?
Well, Google likes all of those.
Okay, anything, categories over tags or tags over categories? For some reason I thought tags were more about SEO.
Well, tags help Google understand what your post is about. And best practice now is to make sure that when you set up your site structure, that you allow Google to crawl your tags so that it can see all of the tags you've listed.
So how do you do that?
You actually you just got to make sure that when you log into your settings inside WordPress, and we're getting a bit technical here, but you want to allow Google to follow the links to your tags. And I use a special WordPress theme called Thesis, and it's actually inside the Thesis settings, and the default setting is to have it no follow. So you actually have to take that setting off, and that will instantly show more of your website to Google. So that's a good little customization.
Why would it automatically go to don't follow?
I think the thinking behind that is that people felt that by not letting Google follow those, it would build up power onto the posts themselves and stop it leaking into the tag.
Okay.
The little tag sections of the website, and that might have made sense from one point of view, but it's better that Google actually finds them and follows them and powers them up.
Just on that, you mentioned Thesis. It's certainly a theme that gets talked about. I mean, for those who don't know what we're talking about in regards to a theme, it's basically you install WordPress, which is the content management system for your site, and then the theme makes it look beautiful, or gives it the structure.
Yeah, well, the theme is sort of like the skin or the outer layer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Thesis is one of those ones that's right up there in terms of best practice.
I think it's good best practice for an all-rounder site, and that is because it's nice and clean and fast loading and well optimized for search engines, pretty much out of the box. And a good designer will be able to work with Thesis and make it look like any sort of site.
Okay, so just getting back to tags and categories, is there a sort of optimal number of tags that you should have for each post? And is it just posts and pages for tags?
I believe just posts.
Yes, okay.
Most people who are using websites for updated news, like the traditional blogging style, will be using posts.
Okay.
Pages are good for things that don't change. But in our case, say Freedom Ocean's a great example. We've got a couple of pages, like the About Us or the Products page, and then we have posts which are dynamic. They keep updating. New podcast, we update the posts. I like to have about 5 or 6 tags per post.
How many categories per post?
I have between 1 and 3.
Okay. All right. Good one. Next question, and I love the fact I have some questions here that I have under the heading "too embarrassed to ask" after a conversation we had last week.
You should ask those ones.
No, I'm just building up the courage. These are ones that I figure most people have got, and then I've got this series of questions that, because people, I'm learning. Like I'm still learning. Whilst I'm well and truly in the ocean. There's lots to learn. So there's some questions there that. I'll just have to build up the courage, take a big deep breath. Okay, another one. Should everyone who is entering internet marketing have a blog?
I think everyone should reserve their own property, and that would be, at a minimum, it would be ideal to have their own name as a .com website. And even if they don't put a lot of stuff on it or put nothing on it, it's good for ownership. Because I think .com is still king, and I think down the track, if you let somebody else take control of that, you can't control what they do, and it could, the more powerful you become, the more authority you get, the more it's going to cost you to buy it back.
Okay, what if you can't get your own name .com?
Try and get a similar version with a middle initial or a shortened nickname of your first name. Just try and get something similar.
Is it okay to then, if you can't get, say, timreed.com, what about therealtimreed.com or thisistimreed.com? Is it okay to add those?
Yeah, you can. We call that a modifier.
A modifier.
You can put a modifier.
Okay.
Yep. Tim Reed's blog, or the real Tim Reed. Luckily, I have a reasonably unique name. There is one other person with my name. Poor guy. He doesn't have much of a chance on the internet. G'day to James, if you're listening.
Yeah, hello, James.
And you want to get in there first, if possible. Maybe consider, find out who has got your .com and see if you can get it from them. If they're not famous, you might have a chance.
Yeah, okay. So that's sort of answering the question, should every internet marketer have a blog? But what you're saying is, well, first of all, reserve your name as a .com, and then do what? Sit on it, or actually start to create content?
Really comes down to what are you trying to do. I think that most people should have